everybody, and welcome to our YouScan Meetup series episode 2, so to say. Our meetups are dedicated to share with you the best practices of efficient work with YouScan we would like to share with you guys the approaches that we know as the people who work with the YouScan on a daily basis in terms of how you can get as much insights and as much benefits from utilizing our tool. And today we are about to start the second episode that will be dedicated to creating an insightful dashboards, actually custom dashboards today. And I hope after this meeting, you will be able to create more advanced and more insightful dashboards after I show you a couple of pro tips, so to say. So let's move on, and we're gonna quickly take a look at the agenda that we have for today. So basically what we're gonna explore today with you guys, we're gonna talk about the advantages of utilizing the custom dashboards. That's the first thing. I mean, compared to the analytics that you have in the topics. Secondly, we would be talking about I'm gonna share with you some pro tips on efficient reporting. Also, we will take a look at at how we can report on different topics within one widget in one dashboard. Then we'll discuss the data segmentation, because since couple of weeks probably we do have some updates in terms of how we can segment the data and apply advanced filters. Moreover, we do have some new widgets in place. Not really sure if you managed to see them, but I'm gonna show you those new widgets and new metrics that you can actually use within the old existing widgets. Also, I'm going to share with you a couple of my personal suggestions on how you can empower your reports with more in-depth data, more complex data from your topics. And then, of course, we'll have a very short Q&A session if you will have questions afterwards. So let's move on to the first point. So as I said, it's obvious that in your topics, you guys have the analytical section and you can see most of the main metrics there. And there might be a question in your head, why would you go into the custom dashboards and, do some manual job and, take your time and so on and so forth. But there's couple of things that it's worth mentioning that are custom dashboards are looking different from the general analytics in your topics. And first and foremost, of course, the custom dashboards, they are fully customizable. So basically within one page, you can build up as many different graphs. You can use many different metrics, which is not that convenient to do in the analytical section. The second point is that within dashboards, you can compare metrics and data from different topics, not just from one, as you can see it in your analytical window, but from, let's say, you might have different topics for several competitors and your own brand topic, and then you can put this data all together under one place, under one page website, so to say, because you can share the dashboard and it can turn into a one-page website, and you will have a lot of different data there. And this is actually not possible to do within the existing topic in the analytical section, right? I would also say that in the custom dashboards, you have more options for visual representation of the data compared to the analytical part of the topic. And of course, I would say that the most powerful function of the custom dashboards is the fact that you can share them via external URL link. Here is an example of the external URL link. And this external URL link could be shared with people who do not have access to YouScan. So imagine you have stakeholders, clients, or even your management, and you'd like to give them, the option to see the reporting that's going to be updated on a daily basis, in the real time, because the data here could be updated in the real time. All you need to do is just copy the shareable URL link, which is available here, and send it to the stakeholders, and they will be able to see the data like you see it right now in my screen. And the only difference between you as the USCAN user and the person that has the access to this URL but does not have the access to USCAN is the fact that you as the user of the USCAN will be able to dive into the topic right away from every section of the graph. Let's say you'd like to understand like what are the health effects of the vitamin C are, right? You simply click and you dive into the mention stream that is like that stands behind this metric. And the stakeholders with whom you are sharing those external links, they won't be able to do that. So they will be only seeing the pure statistical data, and that's it. Let me get back to my presentation. Yeah, so moving on, before I'm going to show you different approaches, how you can play with the widgets, how you can set up certain metrics, and so on and so forth. I'd like to give you some pro tips on how you can empower your reporting, make it like more insightful, and that will provide more data and more information to you or to your stakeholders. And these are the following tips. Well, first of all, imagine you're creating like a dashboard within the template, because we have a pre-ready templates. Those templates, they are not like, they cannot think instead of you, right? And they're gonna give you something that will build up in the tool by default. But when you do your own dashboard, I would say that if you're working within the brand, let's say you're doing the crisis management report or brand health report, it's crucial to segment your own content that you publish on your own pages from earned content, which is published by regular users, consumers. And because if you build just one dashboard without this segmentation, you will have the data that might be a little bit misleading to you or to your management or to your stakeholders, because they will see all in one, like the data will be just summarized. To do so, you would need to use the filters. Let me quickly show that to you, how to do that. So imagine we are working within this dashboard. I will just edit very quickly one of the widgets. Let's go with this ingredients trend chart. So currently I'm looking at everything within the topic, but if I would have an option, let me just move here, yeah. If I would need to segment the data between my own content from my own pages from social media and the earned posts, I would need to play a little bit with the filters. So what I'm gonna do, let's take a look at the metrics, for example. You have filters right away here, and you can click here and you will see the filters page that you see in your regular topics, right? And if you hover over to publication place, here you will be able either to include or exclude specific pages. And this publication places here, you can find your own pages. Let's say, I would just come up with Sephora, for instance. So I would say that Sephora is my client, or I'm working for Sephora, and I just want to get rid of my own content within this dashboard, because I'm looking into results that are related just to the earned media, earned posts. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just exclude such channel from using these filters, right, from the widget overall. And then I would just simply apply. There might be a chance that there is more publication places, because many businesses, they have a channel on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. So you would just need to add all those official channels. You would just need to exclude them. And this way you will report on your earned media posts or earned media presence, share of voice, whatever you call it. If you want to do vice versa, you need to report just on your own content, for example, the metrics, let's say engagement metrics for your own content. You would do exactly the opposite thing. You would just simply go and check those publication places that are owned by your business. Let's go again, Sephora, and there might be more, like I've seen, I guess, the YouTube there is a YouTube, there is Pinterest, and so on and so forth. And then you just hit apply, and you will see the mentions that are under your supervision, so to say. And what's great is that since you have an ability to create many widgets, like up to 30 widgets within one dashboard, you can do the comparison analysis between earned media and your own media, for example. The second pro tip would be to report not only on share of voice or count of mentions, so to say, but I would also suggest always to report on the engagement amount, like engagement metric and authors, and represent it in one row, because this can give you the idea of like whether you have more mentions but less engagement, or vice versa. There might be a chance that you will have less mentions this month compared to the previous months, but the engagement would be higher, and it will flag you that there is something maybe crucial happening in terms of the social media presence of your brand, right? So again, for example, let's take a look at this dashboard here. As you can see here, I have three main graphs which are representing three different categories. So I have share of mentions, like total amount of mentions per month. Then I have the total amount of engagement, and I have also total amount of authors. This gives me the idea right away, as you can see here on this like trends graphs, that the engagement compared to the previous months dropped by 25%, despite the fact that amount of mentions has increased. And if you will be building, let's say, a report that is based on your own media, it can give you the idea like at what point of time you posted something that is not engaging, and at what point of time you posted something that is more engaging. And maybe you should like analyze those patterns and make some business decisions based on this data, right? Or imagine otherwise, we might build a dashboard that is related to influencer marketing, and we could set up a topic based on our influencers that are working within our brand, right? And we would see like how many authors that are within our influencers pool are posting about our brand, what is the engagement per overall amount of authors, and whether the engagement is growing or the engagement is fading with the time. The next pro tip would be to master comparison abilities of the widgets. I'm going to show you, my next couple of slides would be actually dedicated to comparison abilities of the widgets, because I think this is the most powerful function or ability of this like custom dashboards, and this is something that you cannot like easily do in your real topics in the analytical section. And last but not least is to enable the auto update data in the settings. This is very crucial for the reportings that you share probably with your stakeholders or management. If you want your data to be updated like more regularly, you can set up, well, first of all, the default time. You can update the data every 30 minutes, or you can go even like above or beyond this number. And let's say you can update the data like every minute, every 30 seconds, every 10 minutes, depending on your goal, of course, and your tasks, monitoring goals that you have. And yeah, I'm gonna actually kind of like, I'm gonna jump back and forth from slide to the product, because I think it's not really insightful to take a look just on the slide. So I'm gonna show you real actions that you can perform within the custom dashboards throughout this presentation. Let me just quickly see if we have some questions. Not yet so far, right? So guys, if by any chance you come up with any questions, just drop them in the chat or in the Q&A session. I'll be happy to respond. So moving on. We are actually moving towards like this comparison abilities of the widgets. And since some time, let's say probably a week or two, we started to have several ways how we can compare different filters within one dashboard, like within one widget, and different topics within one dashboard as well, or one widget. These ability to add several topics or several segments, which could be filters or date range, within one widget can give you a huge room for reporting, especially if you're doing something like comparison analysis, competitor analysis, if you would like to compare even your brand, but you would like to compare the performance of the brand within different date ranges, for example, this year and the previous year, or this week and the previous week. Now you can represent those data within one widget very easily. And to do so, you have two options how you can do that. You can see the first option here. Once you open any, almost any of the widgets that we have, unless it's like a word cloud and the text widget. You will have an ability to add topic for comparison, and then the system will, first of all, offer you the list of the topics that you have, and it will offer you also to apply different filters or different date ranges under different topics. And once you have those set up, you would see, let's say, a line chart that will represent the data from two different topics. As you can see here I'm like comparing the data from skincare ingredients and the hair care ingredients. There is another option how to do the same way, is the new button right away here. So once you open up again the same widget, let it be like a line chart or a bar chart, you will see an option to just simply like duplicate the segment that you have already built, and it will like turn into the same view. So you will basically see different segments like here on this screen, and you can add, I guess, up to like 40 different segments. I think the current limitation is like 40, because if you go beyond the 40 segments, your visual widget will probably not that, it won't be readable, I would say, right? So that's why we have this like a small limitation. Then once you add the second segment, let's say I have again the skincare segment and I have a skincare ingredients segment as the duplicate. Within both these segments, I can assign different tags for the data representation. I can, if I have, of course, tags in my topics. So for the first, I would choose the collagen. For the second one, I would choose the hyaluronic. And this will give me the representation of the performance of two tags within the same topic. But if I would change the topic itself here to, let's say, something other like competitor topic, I can also filter out the tag there. And then I will have the comparison of two different tags within two different topics, which is an absolutely different situation compared to what you have in your regular topic and the analysis, like the analytical section that you have there. You don't have such abilities in your analytical section to compare two different tags from two different topics. And this could be, you can apply it to many different use cases. As I said, you might be having a couple of topics. The one topic would be related to your brand, and then a couple of topics for the competitors. Within those topics, you might be having different tags that are related, let's say, as you can see here, to the ingredients of the products. And you can compare the performance of the ingredients within your brand and your competitor's brand. Or imagine you're doing also like influencer marketing campaign. You might be having different influencer sets in different topics, and you were using the tags or using any other filters or even date ranges, you would be able to compare those different metrics within one single widget. The only thing you need to be you need to remember when you are doing such complex things like adding different segments is that once you add them, they won't be having the name of the tag or the filter. It's gonna have the name of the topic. As you can see here, I actually currently have two same namings for the bar charts because I'm comparing similar topics but different tags. So in order to make the wording here properly, I would hover over to legend and I would just simply add the proper naming of the tags into the legend. If you will be doing comparison of the different tags within different topics, you will need to do the same. Now let's try to quickly do that together in one of the topics. For example, let me quickly dive into one of the dashboards that I have here. No. Yeah, let's create a widget here. So imagine we wanna compare the performance of two ingredients within the same topic, skincare ingredients. The first segment would be collagen, for example, as in my presentation, and the second segment would be hyaluronic acid. But I have more complex like business need in terms of performance. I'd like also to compare the date ranges. Like I would like to compare them within different periods. Let's say, oh no, let's do actually the same tag. Let's do both hyaluronic and collagen twice, but within different time frames. So now I'm having like two bars, both for collagen, right? I'm gonna give it a name. Collagen, I'm gonna say it's 2022, and then collagen 2023, 2022. So I'm planning to make the comparison between these 2 years, but within the same ingredient sets. So now I need to add the time frame, right? Because currently I'm looking at the something that is set up by default, like probably last month. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna assign additional filter. I'm gonna go to the date range and I'm gonna say that I'm looking at the results from, let's say, January 1st till December 31st. I'm gonna apply it and it's gonna be applicable just for the first bar, right? And then I would add the second time range. And you can see here, there's like an AI helper that can segment the data for you right away for 1 year ago compared to the first bar. And this is like super helpful, I assume. You don't need to play with the calendar anymore with your hands. You just simply go and click here and you will have the graph that will represent you two different time frames, right? Isn't it awesome? I think that this is awesome. The only thing that currently my legend looks kind of like too complex. What I would do, I would still like keep the old wording like call again 2023 and here call again 2022, 2022. And now I have a graph that shows me like that in 2023, definitely collagen performed better in terms of the sentiment compared to the 2022 year. I think it's kind of clear. I would say you just need to play a lot, not a lot, but you just need to play with those filters and segments. It's not that complicated, it's pretty straightforward. And you can also play with the dimensions, of course, the values if needed. And then you will have like pretty great and comprehensive reports. Now let's move on. I would say that this is it about the segmentation. It's pretty straightforward, as I mentioned. And now let's take a look at some new metrics that we are able to report on within the custom dashboards. So the most recent update that we had within this section of the tool is that now you can also add a new value, which is NCR, net sentiment ratio, into your dashboards. Previously, you had the ability to see this ratio just in the analytical section, in the topic, in the physical topic, but now you can add it into your widgets and into your dashboard. It's pretty straightforward. You just change the value to NCR and that's it. But the great thing is that you can also make the comparison using the NCR value, right? So you can, again, add a couple of topics or the same topic, but within the different tags, so to say. And then you just choose the NCR as the value and you will get the either the timely perspective on the NCR ratio, or you might build up a bar chart using the NCR value. Again, depending on your own preferences, the more I would say that the visual part of the tool, it's purely depends on your own taste and the way you see you prefer to see the visual graphs. So now moving on. Actually, this is the last slide, and this is also kind of like a complex case here, which I wanted to share with you today. And it is dedicated to the situations where you want to show like more details of some common things like aspect charts, for example. In this case, I have, again, the vitamin C aspect charts. This is formed on the report that I was doing generally about the skincare. And my goal here was to not only represent the aspects that are within these ingredients, like vitamin C, like what people are generally talking about within the vitamin C, like whether they like the health effects or they don't like, or what is the price, functionality, packaging, whatever, right? All these default aspects that we have in a tool. My goal was also to show the exact like word patterns and word trends that are within those aspects. So basically, when you open up a dashboard, most of the time, I mean, what I can see from the user's behavior is that when you create a widget, you come up like, let's say, with a spider chart, and you just go into this section here, you pick up aspects, and you just click on next, and you have overall aspects for the entire topic, right? It's good for small topics, again, for brands topics, for example. But if you're doing research, you might be looking at something more detailed, or on many different parts of one big research. And then you usually just create it, and that's it. And then you create separately, let's say, a word cloud, which is also like distributed or extrapolated to the entire data set that you have within your topic. But you can combine widgets within, let's say, under one group, and create something more sophisticated, and something that will give more insights to you, your management, or your stakeholders. And this is exactly what I did for this dashboard related to the skincare ingredients. Sorry. My goal was to show the aspects and the exact trending words and phrases within specifically aspects. So for example, here I have collagen. I see that it's pretty like the ratio for health effects and positive health effects is pretty big. What I did, I additionally added a word cloud that is specifically based on the aspects chart of the collagen. So how I do this sequence? First of all, let me get back to the blank widget. So first of all, what I was doing, obviously, yeah, I just went to the spider chart. I added the filter with my tag because I have a lot of tags in this topic. And I actually got rid of the neutral, so I just went with the positive and negative. And yeah, so I have mentions and I have aspects. Easy. There's nothing complicated about this graph. But what I did next, I added the word cloud along with this aspects chart. And again, using the advanced filtration, well, first of all, I got rid of the noise. I mean, it's obvious I don't need like emojis. In this case, I have no need in hashtags, actions, and properties. So I just worked within objects and phrases, because when I was doing this report, I was like exactly looking at different properties, and I decided that objects and phrases for this particular case is the best match. What was next? The next was I added the filter, which is specifically related to the positive aspects. And I added the biggest aspects. I added health, price, contents, functionality. You can add also consistency. I mean, I just took the biggest ones, but sorry, I did it in the wrong way. I didn't choose all aspects like negative, positive, and neutral. I just took the positive ones because I wanted to highlight the benefits of the products, and I wanted to understand like what exactly are the benefits, whether people are happy about the skin tone, or the fact that it's hydrated, or and so on and so forth. So I wanted to get those patterns where people are exactly mentioning what they're happy about. And then what happens next once I add the aspects as the filtration? It's still not that obvious. What I did, well, first of all, I switched to all mentions because I'm interested also in reposts, not only in the original post. And I also switched to a sentiment mode, right? Because in word cloud, you can switch to the sentiment mode. If I would get rid of the aspects here, and if I would extrapolate this sentiment mode to the entire topic, I would see all possible sentiment patterns here. The red one would highlight me the phrases and the objects that are like driving the negative conversations. The gray is neutral, and the the green ones are the positive ones, right? So my goal was just to understand what are the benefits. That's why I went to the aspects. I picked up all like positive aspects, the main ones, and I hovered over to the sentiment here, and I enabled the sentiment mode. And now it can give me the already some insights. So obviously skin is not that important. It's mentioned in every single mention, but I can see that it's right away that the positive things are happening across like sensitive skin or wrinkles, texture of the skin. It's probably pretty good for the dark spots or for acne skin, and so on and so forth. So here you can right away understand like what is the perception of the ingredient from the positive perspective of the users. And then you can build up your own decisions, of course, if you're working, let's say, within the skincare industry. You can make decisions related to, let's say, how you can promote the ingredients in your products. Like, what is the best way to talk about specific things, specific ingredients within the products. And of course, then you just like click next, you pick up the spacing or the shape of the widget, and here we go. And when you're doing big researches, this might be pretty handy because you can, using the ability to like segment the data using tags, can give you a variety of ways on what you can report and how you can like represent it in the custom dashboards. Last but not least, one I wanted to show you very quickly, because as you can see, I mean, we already went through the all main points that I wanted to cover today. Despite few more details, you have an ability to pick up like tags and filters and date ranges to every single widget, but you can also add like on top filters and on top time frames on the entire dashboard. And this can give you an option to share exactly the same report, but with different filters or within different time periods with different people. Because once you filter out, let's say you want to get the report just about the negative mentions, you can click on share button. The tool will generate a unique URL. And once you open it up, this specific URL will always represent you the report for negative conversations. You can then afterwards, I don't know, like come up with another filter, let's say positive, and send it to another set of stakeholders using the share button. And actually both reports, they gonna work well, they gonna still be live, and different segments of the stakeholders or your management or your colleagues will be able to simultaneously see the reports within different timeframes, within different filters. However, from your backend perspective, it's still the same report. So you just have to manually like work with those widgets once, and then you have an ability to share it constantly with different people. Cool. Let me see if we have questions. So guys, I would say that that's about it, what I wanted to share today as for the advanced capabilities of our dashboards, custom dashboards. And I assume you might be having questions. So I give you probably a couple of, let's say 15 seconds to type your questions if you have such. If there are no questions, just a side note while you are thinking about your questions. This meeting has been recorded, so after probably tomorrow, we'll send you the recording of the meeting to your email with the presentation, of course. So in case you'd like to share it with your colleagues, feel free to do that. I would say that would be it, and I'll see you next month in March. We're gonna have the third episode of the meetup series. It's gonna be dedicated to a different topic. I'm not really sure what would be the topic. We'll see. I don't still have a plan. But anyways, I see that we don't really have questions so far, so I assume everything was clear. And the only suggestion I have from my side, yeah, it's always good just to go to the product, to the tool and try everything on your own. You have the guidelines now, so I hope you'll be able to craft something that would be like super helpful and that will, you know, contribute to your daily monitoring goals. Yeah. So yeah, thank you as well. I'm happy that the presentation was useful, and I talk to you next month. Take care and bye-bye.